Blessings, blessing everybody. Welcome to Invested in Milwaukee, and I'm excited to be with you.
Bluetooth disconnected.
I am excited to be with you on today. This is Dr. David D. King, and we're going to talk about some stuff in the city of Milwaukee. And so, one of the things that I really want to address in the city of Milwaukee, as I continue to tag people uh, into this, I want you guys to do so as well. Let's just tag a couple of people in, and so that we can really get this out. You know, we really gotta talk about some things that's going on, and I try to let people know the importance of local elections and why you should get involved with locally, and why it's important for you to begin to stand up and be willing to want to protect your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and everything else. I think a lot of us asleep on what's going on um, here in the political arena, that it's amazing to know and understand that a lot of people don't want to be involved in politics. Well, when you know and understand what's really going on, and when you look at uh, the situation of everything, the immorality, the laws, the taxes that is coming down the pipe, and everything. And so local government is very important, that you would want to get involved in locally, because it shares, it affects your life. And I want to start this off this way. I want to start it off this way. And this is a question to those of us who say we really love God. Why did God give the children of Israel law before he gave them land? Why do you think God gave the children of Israel law before he gave them land? And so when we think about that for a minute, and you'd be like, well, because he wants them to act right, or he wants them to live right, or whatever your understanding might be. But the reason he gave them law before he gave them land was because of the fact that he needed to change their culture. And so the culture that they was under was a culture that they could worship many gods, they could live any kind of way. And the reason I wanted to start off this way, God had to give them a culture. He had to give them law before he gave them land, because he had to change the culture of what or how they was living and how they was doing things. And I want you to understand that whoever controls law controls the culture. And you're probably saying, okay, so what are you saying? Well, let's take a look. In Milwaukee County, the culture is about to change again. And in the Milwaukee County just voted to try to make Milwaukee County a sanctuary for transgender and non-binary person. Now, with all the stuff that's going on in Milwaukee, all the stuff that's going on in the country itself, and when Black Lives Matter was going on, and they was talking about protecting Black lives and saving all, Black people are being misused, brown people are being misused. There was no law made, a sanctuary law made to protect Black folks, Latinos, but there was a law made to become a sanctuary for transgender and non-binary, which means whatever I decide to be, I'm not a male, I'm not a female, I need protection. Why do these, all of a sudden, they need protection? Well, here's what the, excuse me, here's what the revolution says. Be it resolved that the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors firmly assert its commitment to protect transgender and non-binary individuals and believe access to health care is a fundamental right, and all people in Milwaukee County and the state of Wisconsin should have access to all health care, including gender affirming care. And now, what they're trying to tell us is this, because here's what's coming down the pipe, and a lot of people don't know. In Michigan right now, if you use the wrong pronoun, in Michigan, you will become a felon, pay a $10,000 fine. In the state of California, the 957 law is where if the school is teaching your children that they can be anything, even a dog or a cat, and they come home and you say, "No, daughter, you a princess, you daddy baby girl," and she go back to school and say, "My daddy says I'm not that, I am a princess, I'm my daddy's baby girl," the state of California can come in your house and take your child. In the state of California and also in the state of Washington, not Washington, D.C., but Washington State, your 12-year-old daughter who wants to become a boy and you don't agree with it or do the necessary thing to go with them and get it done, they can, quote unquote, run away. The state will find them a safe place and change their agenda and never tell you where your children might be. They will never let you know where they're at. Milwaukee County decided to make this a sanctuary. How is it that they don't feel safe? How is it that all of a sudden now you got to make this? Watch this resolution. If the state of Wisconsin pass a law that impose criminal or civic punishment, fines, or professional sanctions on any person or organization that seeks to provide all of this stuff that for a transgender, the county board, even the surgery, if the state of Wisconsin say it is illegal to do the surgery, it is illegal to give them the pills and everything to help start the process of transgendering our children or adults. Well, and it says this, listen, the hormones or the surgery, Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors urge the Milwaukee County Sheriff to make enforcement their lowest priority. That means they're telling the sheriff, we need you to make this your lowest priority. We need you to make sure you don't deal with this. We want you to understand that we don't want you to address it. We don't want you to do, even though the state says it is against the law, we do not want you to prosecute. We don't want you to do nothing. Nothing. Now, mind you, Mayor Cavalier Johnson, Alderwoman Chantel Lewis made a law that if your children are confused with their identity, you are not allowed to get them counseling in the city of Milwaukee. So you already got people that's going against your belief, going against what you understand or what you what morals you're teaching your children. But at the same time, now they're saying if we say it's against the law, they can go ahead and now they can go ahead and they're asking the sheriff not to pay it no attention, make it your lowest priority. Do not prosecute. Watch this. Be it further resolved, that Milwaukee County be considered a safe place, a sanctuary for transgender children and adults and their family. Now, why did they put our children in there? This is why. Because they're already in our school system trying to convert our children and make our children confused about their identity. So now all of a sudden it's a safe place for our children. Why? So what they're telling you, pastors, parents, if you go against this and they don't feel safe, they're going to come after you. You got to understand exactly what is this they're trying to oppose on us and what is it that they're doing. All right? And so now it is to be considered a safe place and a sanctuary for transgender children and adults and their families. I just told you the law in Michigan. I told you what they're doing in California, and now they're coming to your door. They're knocking on your door. This is why local races are very, very important. Without the local races being dealt with, then guess what? They're going to come. Now, Dane County is also a sanctuary for transgender. So you got Dane County, you got Milwaukee County, and I guarantee you it's going to hit other counties in the state of Wisconsin as well. But here's the thing. We, as a people, this is not being a pastor, a kingdom citizen. This is people with morals, people who love their children, people who don't want this forced down their children's throat, people who don't want this to happen where they're reading books to your children. This is parents and individuals that don't want children to be forced into this kind of lifestyle. We want our children, if they decide that after they grown, that's one thing. But to be forced, to be indoctrinated, to be attacked with all of this. And listen, I'm looking on both computers, you guys. To tell the county sheriff to make this enforcement their lowest priority. But guys, this is not all. This is not all. What do I mean? Let's see. 1, 2, let's see. The supervisors that voted for this, the supervisors, Burgess, if I'm saying the name right, Chansey, Cobbs Jones, Gomez, Tom, Johnson Jr., Martinez, Rowland, Shea, Summers, Taylor. That Taylor is Dr. Shanquez Taylor. Dr. Taylor, Minister Taylor voted for this. Werserman and Nicholas. Alexander said no. Logden said no. I think it's Steve Taylor said no. And I don't want to chop this name up. whatever. I don't want. I'm sorry. I'm chopping the name up. Said no. So 4 said no. 12 said yes. In the African American community, all of your county supervisors said yes to this mess. And the reason I call it mess is because of the fact that this should not even been a topic. This should not even been agreed upon. This should not even been on the floor. Our children protection should have been on the county, that the county said they'll protect our children. But they did this. I'm going back to the resolution again too, because this is something that they've been telling us for a while. They're coming after our children. I'm trying to see if I can find it. If I can find it, I'm gonna play a song that is being played right now, and I hope I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. And they was saying this while they was protesting. It was saying we hear. I think it said we come, we hear. To convert our children. Let me see if I can find it. And then there's another video on YouTube that's come to say, it says that, we're after your children. Let me see if I can find that. And yep, it's a message. It is a message from. It's a message from. And this is how sleep a lot of us is. I'd been knowing about this song when they first did it, but it is called the community, the gay community, sung by the San Francisco Gay Choir. Listen to this.
As we celebrate Pride and the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you. You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair. At first, I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but I see now why you'd have a problem with that. Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night.
Listen, again, I just want you guys to understand, if you're a grown man, a grown woman, what you do with your life, God gave everyone a right. He gave everybody a free will. He gave everybody a chance to do and be whatever they want to be. And then we all deal with the judgment later. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our children. I'm talking about attacking our children and won't let them be children. I'm talking about forcing something into them that is not right. I'm not talking about any adults. I'm talking about our babies. It's in the schools now. And then now they done made a law, a Milwaukee County, a sanctuary for transgender. That means they're coming after your children, and they're going to be able to give your children, even though your children might be confused and don't understand everything that's going on, they're going to be able to give your children medicine to help them convert. But what they're really doing for the young men is they're giving them stuff that's going to sterilize them in case they change their mind. And we voted these people in, you guys. We voted every last one of them in office. We, the ones who allowed them to get in this office to even make something like this. So, and the thing about it is this: we have sit back and we allow folks to just do things and never say anything. We vote them in office and we sit down. They got you focusing on the governor's race. They got you focused on the president race while they're controlling locally, which changes everything in your life. Local races change everything in your life. Everything locally. This is why they're doing the things that they're doing, and there's nothing you can do about it. Cavalier Johnson had a transgender day. David Crowley supported transgender day. Now, you got the two heads of the city and the county that support this stuff already. All right? And so what they are doing is, now Cavalier haven't came all the way out of all what he's going to do because he was finishing up Barrett. But if you give him 4 more years, Milwaukee is going to look like Michigan, California, and Washington State. Minnesota have also now joined the 4 states who's looking at it as a safe place for sanctuaries for transgender. What you also didn't understand what the Milwaukee County did, they was given, I don't know if anybody went, but they was given medical expense, taxpayer money now, medical expense on any county employee that drove over to Illinois to have an abortion. They paid for the traveling expense of that employee, but they just stopped it because Wisconsin is now allowing abortion again. So these county supervisors are playing around with life, your children's life. They're doing things that is unethical. This has nothing to do with civil rights. This ain't have nothing to do with constitutional right. This doesn't have anything to do. Don't let them use that crap. See, they always using black people and saying, well, everybody has the right. You know, it's the Civil Rights Act. Martin Luther King did not die for this. You can't sit here and tell me that the Civil Rights Act was about transgender. Now, you have to go in the bathroom with your children from now on. From now on, you would have to go in the bathroom with your children, your grandchildren. You cannot send them to a public bathroom anymore. You guys got to understand the whole picture and what is really going on. Now, you need to have a conversation with your children and find out what they're really talking about in the schools. You need to ask your children, is there any conversation going on in school you feel uncomfortable about? You got to start this now because this is the foundation to more to come. This is just the beginning of the whole agenda that they're trying to push upon us. I got pastors says we don't deal with politics. Well, pastors, I know you don't deal with politics, but politics is definitely dealing with you. You don't deal with politics, you don't get in politics, then guess what? Politics is going to deal with you. And then, let me play this for you too. I gotta play this for you. You gotta see this. You gotta hear this too, because I want you guys to understand exactly what it is we up against and what they're doing, because the more we allow, the more it's going to be.
Right now at 5, a new resolution just passed by the Milwaukee County Board makes Milwaukee County a sanctuary for the transgender and non-binary.
It's a resolution we've been following for weeks after tumultuous testimony in a committee.
Jenna Ray breaks down what passing this resolution means.
Just hours ago, the County Board of Supervisors passed that resolution. Some people saying this is the first step in the right direction to making many here in Milwaukee feel safer. Others say that this could create problems in the future.
I'm excited that the resolution was passed. I think anything towards progression is a good thing.
Cameron and Jonah Overton are both transgender pastors here in Milwaukee County. They say this resolution is only a first step.
While we are excited about this, we should really take seriously the threat.
Yes, it's the first step for their agenda. First step to coming after your children. The first step of making you bow down to Caesar. This is the first step. They telling you this is the first step. It's coming, and every county supervisor that's up for re-election that voted for this should have an opponent. Every county supervisor should have an opponent. Those same county supervisors that, let me do it this way. Those same county supervisors was wearing t-shirts, Black Lives Matter, and didn't do anything for the Black lives. Same county supervisors that had on Black Lives Matter just did something against black families that believe in the tradition of a man and a woman. Listen, you guys got to understand, you got to stop this color thing, voting for somebody because they're black, because they are the ones that's against you. All of those county supervisors who say they love God is going against the nature of God. The nature of God. You guys got to understand this. The nature of God. And so they voted for this mess. They supported this mess. You got to pay attention, because I guarantee you they're going to try something in the city too. I guarantee you the city aldermen, that you got to pay attention to everything now. We have to be on guard. We have to make sure we're watching. We have to make sure we're standing up for what's right. And listen, you don't have to say you belong to God to do what's right. You don't have to, you can be an atheist with morals. Use your moral compass on this. This don't have anything to do with the Civil Rights Act. This doesn't even have anything to do with people constitutional. This doesn't have anything. This is their agenda that they are pushing, and you guys got to understand they're coming for the children. And for them to even add in the resolution that they're asking the Milwaukee County Sheriff, whose job is to protect the Constitution, to make this a low priority. A low priority. Be it further resolute, the Office of Government Affairs is hereby authorized and requested to communicate the contents of this resolution to Governor Evers, to the Milwaukee County State legislative delegates. That means all the Democrat delegates, Tammy Baldwin, U.S. Senate Tammy Baldwin, and Ron Johnson, and the U.S. congressional delegate. That means Gwen Moore. Listen, guys, when are we going to wake up in the city of Milwaukee? When are we going to say enough is enough in the city of Milwaukee? When are we going to say we ain't having it no more in the city of Milwaukee? When are we going to open up our mouth to protect our children in the city of Milwaukee? When are we going to stand up for our children here in the city of Milwaukee? When are we going to stand up? When are we going to say enough is enough? When are we going to tell those elected officials, you do not represent our interests? When are we going to stand up? When are we going to say enough is enough? We cannot allow their agenda to go any further. We cannot allow them to do the things that they're doing. We cannot allow it. And they already got step one passed. Every county supervisor that voted for it. There was only 4 that didn't vote for it. But everyone that voted for it, all 12 of them, you need to deal with them. You need to address them. You need to vote them out. You need to get rid of them. You need to say enough is enough. You need to say you misrepresented us for far too long. And you don't represent our interests anymore. And because of that, we need you to go. That is what we need to be saying right now. That is what we need to be standing up for right now. That is what we need to do for every individual that is running right now, because of the fact that they don't represent us. They don't represent us. And when are we going to wake up? Now, for years, we've been using the word Uncle Tom on people that desire to wake you up, desire to tell you the truth, that has a desire to liberate you and set you free from the lies that has been told. And they try to make that a bad name. But Uncle Tom is not a bad name. If you want to use a name, let's look up the name Sambo. Sambo is one who never pushed the agenda for anybody but Master. Sambo is the one who will let Master know what the slave is thinking about, or what the slave is getting ready to do, or what the slaves are saying. Those are the Sambos. So you need to check DNAs and find out who you're voting in. Are you voting in an Uncle Tom who wants to empower the people, or are you voting in a Sambo who's going to keep oppressing the people? Time out for that, guys. We need statesmen. We need people that is there for the people, who's going to honor the Constitution. And here's the thing about it. Most of the people that you got in office don't even understand the Constitution, or probably ain't never read the Constitution. So how are they going to protect your constitutional rights? Come on, people. We got to do better. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to stand up? When are we going to speak out? When? 2024 got to be a different election. And I'm not talking about the fall election. I'm not talking about the presidential election. I'm not talking about none of that. I ain't talking about the spring election that deal with all local officials. We has to have different local officials in office so that we can just make sure we're taking care of what we need to take care of, and not make laws that are immorality, not do anything that's going to go against a person who believes differently or have a moral compass. So we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. And it's sad, it is very sad that we're allowing these people to do the things that they're doing, and we're not saying nothing about it. Nothing. We're just going about our business, letting them lie to us, put stuff in our face that they think we want to deal with, like racism, because they keep racism in your face. And when they keep talking about racism, they in the back door making decisions that's going against the way you live. You know, they're talking about taxes, and they got you focused on taxes while they behind the scene doing things that's going against your everyday life. Everyday life. Now, you know, every elected official, county official, if they would have came in their district and say, I want to pass this, they would have had so many people against them. They would have had so much of an uproar. But they wasn't going to come in their district and talk like this. You really think they was going to go before just people in general and say, this is what we want to do? Everybody is not for that. Do you think they was going to go before the pastors in their district and say, hey, this is what we're going to do? No, they're not going to do that. So the good people, so they're not, listen, even when they're attacking the children, everybody, and let me say this so all of y'all understand, everybody that is part of the LGBT community is not for transgender being shoved down our children's throat. They're not for it. There's a group out there that's called Gays Against Groomers. They don't believe in that. Look them up. Go look it up. It's called Gays Against Groomers. They don't agree. So everybody in the LGBT community don't agree with that crap. Everybody in as I go researching and study, everybody that's part of the LGBTQ is not with transgender. They're not with that stuff. I'm researching because I need to know what we up against. I need to know what's coming down the pipe. I need to know. So they're not. There's a plethora of gay and lesbians that is not for transgender. They're not for them pushing it down our children's throat. They're not for that mess. So they're not for it either. So they're not going to go to the whole gay and lesbian community and say, hey, we need you to go out there and push this agenda, because they don't agree with it either. We're just not coming together and say, you know what? We need to address this. We need to do this, and we need to do it now. And that's what's important right now, that we rise up and speak out and eliminate. Listen, let me pull it up again. I got to find it. Where is it? All right. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 county supervisors in 2020 had no opponent. Nobody challenged them. 12 out of 16. Right? 1, 2, 12. Nobody challenged. 2, 4, 5 aldermen. Nobody challenged. 17 offices that represent your everyday life, they didn't have a challenger. 17. Wait, I take that back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 18 offices, because 6 circuit court judges didn't have a challenge. So you got 2, 4, 6, 17, 23 offices that deal with your everyday life. 23 offices that deal with your everyday life did not have a challenger. Nobody rised up to run against them. City of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County, I challenge you, I charge you to rise up and do something about the madness, do something about the craziness. Because if you don't, who will? It takes all of us. It takes each and every one of us. Every last one of them have to go. And we're challenging you guys to rise up. We're challenging you. And to the sheriff, my good friend, Sheriff Ball, I pray that you don't go along with that mess and make it the lowest priority because of the county supervisors. I pray that you will stand on your conviction as a woman of God, as the sheriff whose job is to address and deal with the Constitution, that you will not allow these folks to talk you into making it the lowest priority. We got a lot of work to do, guys. 2024 will be either the year of turnaround or the year of disaster. And it's all in our hands. This is Dr. David King, candidate for mayor, and I approve this message. God bless.